Hello, welcome to Board Games with Niramas. I'm Joseph and I'm here with Draco, and he's very excited today. He has some issues with the green screen. I don't know how to fix that, to be honest. Are you? You're not green, Draco. I don't know why the green screen thinks you're green at some point. Kind of weird. But we are back for another episode of the top 100 games of all time. Very exciting, very fun. And today is going to be a bunch of games here that I have made videos for, which I am happy for. So we're starting off with number 60 and we go all the way down to 41. But before we get going, I do want to mention that the Kickstarter for Board Games with Niramas is up for a few more days, one more week basically. And I will also say that we're getting close to the first stretch goal. So if you want to see, or actually hear, the Board Games with Niramas podcast being live starting in January and once a month, ongoing for next year, then go and check out the Kickstarter and consider backing it, because we just need to, raise a little bit more funds, and then the stretch goal will be reached and we will have that podcast starting. So let's get started talking about games. I am going to start off with a game that I filmed it. Let's see if I okay, there we go. I did film it, but it's I didn't film the actual board game. I filmed the digital version of it. It's called Raiders of the North Sea at number 60. So I played the board game quite a bit, but I never filmed the board game for some reason. Too many games as usual, I guess. I filmed the digital version though when that came out, and that's actually really good as well. So in Raiders of the North Sea, it's a worker placement game, but the fun twist to it all is that you only have one worker at a time. On your turn, you place your workers somewhere to do an action, but then you also take one of the workers that are already on the board back into your hand, and you do that action that wherever that worker was standing. And that's a fun twist to worker placement. I really like it. I would like to see that in more games actually. Just the base idea of that. Now I like the theme. It's this Viking team. We go raiding. It actually pulls through pretty good for being a Euro game, and well, in the digital version especially with all the animations and everything, but even in the board game it really is there, the Viking theme. And there's some take that in the game. That's maybe why it's not, higher up on my list. It has gone down a bit since last year. Haven't really played it that much, but I enjoyed. I will also say in this digital version, there's like a campaign mode, so you can play like a solo campaign, which is really cool against AI, and it gets harder and harder as you go. So that's something I can recommend you to check out if you're curious about Raiders of the North Sea. Now, I will also say that they just recently released Raiders of Scythia. I think it's pronounced Scythia, which is basically the same game, I think, but with a different theme. And, well, it's sort of different because it's only on land, I think. So you're moving up sort of on land instead of these ships. I haven't tried it, but I would like to. It looks really nice as well. And, really like this. This is my favorite in the series, by the way. There's like a 3-part series of shipwrights of the North Sea and explorers of the North Sea. But Raiders is the one I like the most. Now the next series, the whole, what's it called, the West Kingdom series, that's not on my top 100. I like those games, but not enough to make it into the top 100. So this is my favorite from this kind of games. So it's sort of like a series of games, right? So that's my number 60. Now let's keep going to 59. And let's see if I can just get this working here. So 59, again, the video is a digital version of the game. Ganschen Clever, or That's Pretty Clever, as it's called in English. So this is from the phone app that I did a playthrough of it. And I have the actual physical game as well, but I only played that a few times with friends. But I really like it solo, and it's became almost an addiction for a long time. I played this like all the time on my phone. And yeah, it's so good. It's just a math game really. You roll dice and you assign the dice to different spaces, basically roll and write. And yeah, it's such a good. Like they made it so that there is like a maximum score you can get, which I haven't reached. I'm pretty close, but some people say that the game is sort of broken because people have figured out the optimal way to play. But at the same time, for me, it's more like a relaxing thing. I just play. Well, like when I watch TV, I just have it on my mobile phone, And then I did question, should it be on this list? Because this list should be board games, right? And card games. But it is a board game. It's just that I play it on the phone instead. But yeah, I had to include it because I played it so much and I enjoyed it so much. So I can really recommend that app and the actual game as well. It was fun playing with friends as well. Then you have this little drafting of dice and all that. So let's go to 58. This is a, by now, classic board game, Viticulture, from Stonemaier Games. Viticulture Essential Edition, I should say, that you should get. I don't even think you can get the first one even these days. And also, I really like the expansion for this called Tuscany. So in Tuscany, in Viticulture, you're doing sort of the same thing, but in Viticulture, the sort of game round or a year sort of in the game is divided into like 2 seasons. In Tuscany, it's 4 seasons, and there's also a lot of other interesting things in here. And I really like the part of this game. Well, it's worker placement. You place your workers out. You're basically making wine and then selling the wine, but it's like a long process, which it actually is in real life as well. So you have to get the plants, you have to have the right equipment, then you need to plant your grapes, right? Then you need to harvest your grape, then you need to make it into wine, like crush it and combine it to make like sparkling. And then you can fulfill a contract to sell it, and then you start making income, and you also make points. And I like the process in this game. I like the whole, I mean, the components are really cute with all those little wooden buildings, and the artwork is nice, and the feel of the game, like the theme really comes through in this game. It really feels like you're trying to run a vineyard in Tuscany. So not that I ever done that, but I can imagine. So really enjoyed, and as I said with the expansion here, you also have you have a little area control mini game. Also have like the building expansion in my video here. Not that I'm not a big fan of the building expansion. I think some of it, because then you can start making points without making wine, which I feel like takes away from the actual theme of the game in a sense. But yeah, I really like Viticulture, and I don't own it anymore. I have the whole thing here with the metal coins and everything, but I did end up selling it because there's too many games and I can't play them all. So, but I wouldn't say no to playing this once in a while. I have a friend who has it, so when I can get back to gaming, I do want to play Viticulture. So that is Viticulture. Now let's head on to the next one. And it is Seven Wonders. So Seven Wonders is a classic board game by now, and it's this card drafting game. I like the card drafting a lot. You get a bunch of cards, you take one, you pass the other one forward. The one you take, you can use for different things. So you have this like multi-use as well in some way. And you're trying to build your wonder, but you're also you're building up production and you're building up your economy, science and warfare, and you're scoring points. And the game really, the main thing that I think this game really shines at is that you can play up to 7 players, and everyone plays at the same time, so there's no real downtime. Like it's simultaneously play. I think that's such a good game for this, and I play this with all kinds of gamers and non-gamers and so on. People usually pick up on how the game works pretty fast. There's some icons and so on, but and I have the playmat here as well. That doesn't come with the game, but it looks nice. It's not needed at all though. It's just something nice looking on the table. Yeah, so Seven Wonders, it's a really cool one. I hope that everything works with the stream, by the way. I forgot to say that, but I hope, tell me if there's any issue with the stream. Tell me in the live chat with the sound or anything. I think it's working. All right, let's move on. And I am moving fairly quick here today. A lot of these games I have been talking a lot about earlier on the channel. I mean, if you're new, obviously, I will try to explain the games a little bit. But next up, we have Isle of Skye. So Isle of Skye from Alexander Pfister, the designer that's made so many good games. Another one of his games is actually on this segment as well. And in Isle of Skye, you're building a little kingdom. So everyone has their own little kingdom of tiles in front of them. But you also have this sort of market phase where everyone gets 3 tiles. They choose a tile to get rid of, and the other 2 they put a price on. And I really like this in this game where, like, if you really want a tile, well, you gotta put a high price on it, otherwise someone might buy it, right? Well, if they do buy it, you do get the money. But at the same time, if you want it yourself and you price it very high, then you have to pay that. You lose that money if nobody buys it, and then you buy it yourself. You pay the bank, basically. So really interesting system in this one. I really like that. And I also like this little tile puzzle where you build up tiles and you create your kingdom. And it has a very good scoring system as well, where each time you play, you pull out 4 different scorings conditions. And those will be sort of different from each time you play, because you know they might end up in different spots as well. So you have 4, but like each round you're scoring 2 of them. A really good system. They also did that in Cartographers, which is a game I like as well. But that one didn't make the top 100 because I didn't play it before I did the top 100 in October. But now I played Cartographers, and I think it will make my top 100 next year, because I really like that. It's a roll and write. But I really like that the same system there with the scoring of like A, B, C, and D, and how that rotates, and it makes it interesting. So Isle of Skye is a really good one. I will say there's 2 expansions for this. I played one of them, the Journeyman. I think I actually own it still, and that one I was not a big fan of. It's an expansion that I don't really enjoy, because it like adds a complexity level to the game where you have this little journeyman going around trying to fulfill different objectives. But it just like added complexity to a game that I think should be quick and easy to play. So I'm not a big fan of the expansion. But there's another expansion for Isle of Skye that I haven't tried. The Yogi Bear is saying he loves it. Oh, the Druid expansion. Yeah. That's the one I want to try. I haven't tried that, but I heard a lot of good things about it. So where are we? 56, I think, with Nations from a fellow Swede, Rustan Håkansson, fellow Swedish designer, really nice guy as well. Made him quite a bit, and really like his game Nations. Nations is as it sounds, it's a civilization game, and it's sort of abstracted, because you don't have a map and you don't have dudes going around on the map. Instead, it's card and it's card drafting, but you still have this like civilization theme really in the game. And I really enjoy this card drafting system in this one. It's this like open display card drafting basically, and well, you have to pay for the cards. You're not only drafting them, but this pressure of, so on my turn, well, turn order is really important. And then if it's my turn, like, do I want to buy one of those cards that are out there? Or do I want to do an action with my workers? Because you have like a worker placement thing going on as well on your own board. And so it's like always these hard decisions. Like, well, if I don't buy that card, then maybe one of my opponents will buy the card before I can. But then again, I won't be doing this other action that I want to do. I really like it, and I like how this game is fairly rough to the players. It's like, it's a hard game in some sense, but you're not attacking each other. And that's the reason why this game is on my list and not Through the Ages. Because in Through the Ages, it's more of like attacking each other. I don't like that part of the game. Nations is very similar in play style, I think. But I really like how they, Rustan removed that. This is basically a development of Through the Ages. He made this one after he, played that one. And in Nations, there's like wars and so on. But it's not that rough if you can't make it, because you have like the stability as another thing that balances it out. So you might lose a point, but at least you're not losing like all your grain, so you can't feed your people. So I think Nations is a lot better in that sense, and I really enjoy this one. In this video I played it solo, which works very well as well. Really good solo game as well, Nations. And with the Dynasties expansions, I should say, I like the Dynasties expansion for this. Wow, when I go back and make this list, I'm like, oh, I want to pull that out and start playing right now some of these games. All right, next up is another worker placement game. I do like that mechanism a lot. This is Rajas of the Ganges, and this one I think has flown a little bit under the radar. I don't think everyone played this, but it's such a good worker placement game with this interesting. So you have dice as a resource. But in this game, it's not like if you roll a 1, that's bad. you know, a pawn could be really good, because of some of these places on the worker placement spot you need to pay like a 1 or a 2. Some of them you need to pay a high number die. So basically all dice are equal value in that sense, but you need the higher dice in order to like use them as material to buy these tiles that you then place on your little board and build up your sort of kingdom with these tiles to score points and bonuses and so on. You can also travel up this river. There's so much going on in this game, and so many different strategies and ways to play it. And I think the main thing that I really love about this game is the scoring system. It's quite special, because you're getting like fame, which is like victory points, but you're also getting money, and it's a racing game really, because whoever, like, there's two different markers right on the board, so fame and money. They travel in opposite directions around the board. Whenever they meet, that's when the game ends, and whoever, you know, got them to meet first is the winner. So you could go for like a money strategy, get a lot of money, but then again you need money to do things as well. So you do want to get some fame, and while you get these moving as well, you get bonuses on the way. It's such a good system, such a good design. I'm so impressed by Rajas of Ganges, and yeah, I do want to play it right now. If I could, well, I can, I guess, if Draco's up for it. We'll see after the video. But yeah, such a good game, Rajas of the Ganges. Now let's head to the next one. And let me do a little bit of a check here. So 53 is Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. I haven't made a gameplay video for this one, sadly. And I don't own the game anymore. But here's the next unboxing I did. I just put something on here in the background while I talk. This is an unboxing for the expansion, one of the expansions. So Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, because the first edition is basically like one against all. You have a game master setting everything up. I haven't tried that, but it doesn't look like I would enjoy it too much. In Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, though, it's so good because you have an app that handles all the boring stuff in the game, like all the upkeep. So you have on your computer or tablet or whatever, you have the app, and it gives like thematic music and sound effects, and it takes care of all the like surprises, like the events happening and so on. You're fighting Cthulhu monsters. You go into this like old building, or there's a lot of different scenarios for this game by now. This is not just mansions anymore. But yeah, such a good game. I played it solo quite a bit when it came out, and just these scenarios. And I especially remember one scenario where you're trying to like solve a murder or something, like a mystery, right? And you have to go around, talk to people, and so you can tell the people in the app like, oh, do you want to ask, the app will ask you what question will you ask them, and they will give a response. And yeah, it's such a thematic and adventure style game in that sense. So I do enjoy it. Now I don't own it anymore, but it's one of those games again that I would like to play again at some point. And I played it with friends as well, and I had a good time. I will say, when I played it with friends, I did remove some cards, because there's cards that when you go insane, and then all of a sudden you get like a secret objective and you need to burn down the house, and you're like basically destroying the game for everyone else who's been playing it for like 3 hours. I think that's maybe a little bit of a bad design in my opinion for a game. Like, it's co-op, but then all of a sudden someone becomes a traitor in a not fun way, in my opinion. So I do prefer it solo or with the friendly rules, my homemade friendly rules. Then next up is a older game from Stefan Feld, and this has been higher up on my list as well, and I really enjoyed this one. It's Amerigo. So in Amerigo, you have this like Caribbean map. You're traveling around with your ships. You're trying to like establish trade houses, pick up goods. And it's the really cool thing. I mean, all that is good in the game. It's good. But the really cool thing about Amerigo is that the actions, as you can see here, the actions are decided by throwing these cubes into the tower. And the tower has like this little barriers in it. So some of the cubes will get stuck in the tower. And then later on, when you throw some other cubes in, they might come out. And you throw in the different colors of the cubes represent different actions you can do. And you keep going around this wheel doing different actions. Depending on how many cubes you get of that color, that's how strong that action will be. It's so good, and I don't know why I made this video with like some burnt thing in the background there. This is one of my oldest videos actually. It's 4 years old today, I think. So that's that's interesting as well. I think that's fascinating from a YouTuber perspective. I just realized when I pulled this up, I'm like, wow, this is 4 years old. And it's also interesting because I wasn't really sure on some of these games. Like, have I made a video for this? And I had to search YouTube, and then like, oh, I made a video for this. Cool. I made so many videos by now that I keep forgetting what I did. So yeah, Amerigo is a really fun game. This is a keeper for me. This is one I will never sell, I think, because I just find it so fun, and I like to have it in my collection, just because the whole, like, everyone, it's so fun at the table. Everyone likes this, like, oh, I want to throw in the cube, but only the whoever is first in turn order gets to throw the cubes in the tower. Such a good game. Had so much fun with this, so I can really recommend you to get Amerigo from Queen Games. All right. Hey, Miran from Serbia, or Miran. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So next up is another fun game. Well, they're all good at this stage. Like when we get down to the top 50s, I just love all these games, right? So Near and Far from Ryan Lockett. Such a fun game with this. It's like adventure, storytelling game, but it's competitive. You go on your own adventures. You're trying to gather points in different ways. You're trying to build up your character and get like a following of a party of adventurers to follow you. So like you see here, you have some kind of toad and some dog or whatever follows you around. And then at certain points in the game, you will read from a story booklet and things happen and you get like choices, but you don't know, like, oh, you meet, I think in this playthrough, I think Draco met a cow. I think you met a cow, Draco, on the road. And then he got the choice, like, do you want to, like, bring the cow back to its owner, or do you want to, like, slaughter it and eat it? And Draco was hungry. So, I mean, he slaughtered the cow, and he got something out of that. But of course, if he had chosen the other option, he would have gotten some other kind of reward. So, and it's really thematic, and I really like how it's very, it's like a really fun setting, a fun world. And it's interesting also how that it's like this whole, it's not generic, it's like this whole world in Near and Far also sort of exists in the first game, Above and Below, that came out before this, and then in Ryan Lockett's next games, I think Sleeping Gods, I think it's in the same world. So really good one. Which number are we on? We are on 51, so this is the last in the top 50 segment, or so to speak. I need to, next year, I didn't plan for this. I didn't find a good way to do it. Next year I will have some kind of number up on each of them. Now, if you watch this afterwards, you can look at the timeline for the video down, like where you fast forward, and there you will see which number we are on. So that's the best I could do right now. But yeah, so Near and Far, also I got an expansion called the Amber Mines where you can play cooperatively. I haven't tried that, but I would like to try it at some point. Again, it's one of these games that I don't own anymore, but I really liked Near and Far, and I have a friend that plays it quite a bit as well. Such a good story game, and I like that the map is. I don't know if this is the first game that did it. I mean, now we have like Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, but the map is actually this book that you just turn a page to, and then you play on the next map. It's such a good idea. So let's head to number 50. So now we're down to the top 50 games. Number 50 is a game that has gone down for me. It was higher up on my list. Endeavor, Age of Sail. The only reason it's gone down is because there's so many good games, basically. I love Endeavor, Age of Sail. And this is a bit of an anomaly for me. Well, a lot of things in this game is like Euro stuff and planning your actions, doing your actions, and then, sort of area control on the board. But I'm not usually a big fan of area control where you can like attack each other. And the thing is, though, in Endeavor, Age of Sail, you don't attack each other that much. It's a little bit in the end of the game, maybe. You're trying to fight over certain positions on the board. And it's quite costly to attack someone else as well. It costs you these action tokens, these pawns. Like, it also has this. So this is the. I never played the old Endeavor. This is the sort of new, the second printing that came on Kickstarter last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago. And in this one you also have these like different. I forgot what they're called. But like you can see here, you have like every time you play, you put out 3 different scenarios or whatever they're called. they're called something else. I don't remember now. And so you have like sort of special goals or special ways you can score points and so on during the game, and that changes up every time you play, which really adds to the game. I also must say I really like this game. Like, it goes up to 5, and I like it on all player counts, but my favorite is, I mean, I like playing it solo as well, but my favorite is the 2-player. So in the 2-player, oh wait, can you play this game solo, or was it 2-player I played with Draco? This is 2-player at least. I'm confused right now. I'm not really sure if you can play this solo, or if I just played it with Draco and it felt like I played solo because Draco was not that focused. I don't know. Anyway, I really love the 2-player mode because, as you can see here, I have my red pawns, or bricks. Draco has his blue, but then we have the white as well. And it's like a dummy player in a fun way. I mean, a lot of dummy players in 2-player versions of games are not that exciting, I think. But the dummy player in this one, it's so good because after I do my turn, the dummy player, like if I go do a sail action, I sail somewhere, then the dummy player will also do a sail action, and I get to decide where it will go. So of course I will try to block my opponent. And then Draco might do like a conquer action, conquer a city. Then the dummy player will do a conquer action. Draco will decide where to conquer, and he will do it in such a way to block me. So I think that's really fun in this game. And again, I don't like conflict or like direct player conflict that much if it's a 2-player game. So that's why I think this works so good for me. Hey Bjorn. Bjorn's kids don't want to go to bed. Well, you know, that's the pro, Bjorn, when you have a pet dragon instead of kids, because, you know, Draco never needs to go to bed. Actually, he just sticks around. Yeah, so that is Endeavor, my number 50. And so let's head into the top 50 with 9 more games to talk about here. So we are, oh yeah, it's 2 to 5. That's true, Jogi Bear. I just had this memory that I played it solo, but I played it with Draco and with the dummy player as well. So 49 is Gugong, another good-looking thematic Euro game. There's a lot of those on the segment today, and that's because I really like. I don't know, that's my kind of favorite type of games. These like mid-weight Euros with a strong theme and nice components and all that. And this is the deluxe version of Gugong as well. So in Gugong, you're trying to please the Emperor. You're trying to do different kind of tasks. The interesting thing here is it's like a worker placement sort of, but instead of workers, you have a hand of cards. You sort of trade with a card that is already on the board. And so, as you can see here, there's this cards on the board, but then I take one of my cards in my hand and trade it for another card on the board to do that action. And the card that I got, it goes into my discard. I can use it the next round. The cards have different values. So to trade, like, I have to have a higher number than the one I'm trading with. But if I don't have it, I can give up some other resources in order to compensate for that. And in Gugong, you have one of these games where you can do a bunch of different things that can lead to victory, and I really like that. And I really like this one real cool thing in this game is that in the middle of the board you have this like palace of heavenly glory, or whatever it's called, where you have to go up and meet the Emperor. And if you don't do that at the end of the game, then you get 0 points. It doesn't matter what you've been doing besides that. And I actually seen that happen in games when people focus on other things and then they just realize, wow, okay, I never met the Emperor, then I get 0 points. I think that's a cool little twist in this game. And again, I think it's just so well made. And I like these, like there's technologies you can invest in that gives you special benefit for the rest of the game. You can build on the wall. You can travel out in the world. You can gather jade. There's so much cool stuff going on in this game. I really like Gugong. I can't wait to play it again. That was 59. So 58 it's a game I haven't made a video for. 58 is Automania. Automania is, again, another mid-weight Euro with a fun theme. Now this one, the box cover here looks a bit like it's a kid's game or something, but it's kind of misleading because it's a really, you know, it can be quite mind-boggling, like you're trying to figure out how to do it in the best way. What you're doing is you're making cars, and then you're trying to sell the cars. So on your player board, I think it's really fun. You have like a little factory with like these rolling, what it's called in English, I don't know. Like like this band what it's called. I'm a Swede. I'm trying to figure out what it's called. See if I can find a good picture of the actual player board. Well, sort of, I guess. So, let me zoom in here. And okay, that wasn't a good idea. I really should prepare these pictures up ahead. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, so you have these player boards, and so you're creating 3 different types of cars. But as you go, you will modify your factory so that your fast car from the beginning might be like, oh, it's just a fast car, and it's earned you so and so much money if you sell it, and when you build it and then you sell it. But then you can modify that production line. That's what it's called, production lines, I think. And then, so you can modify it to be, or conveyor belt, yeah, that's true. You can modify it so that like it has like a more environmental friendly aspect to it, or a better handling, like a steering wheel or a bigger cargo. And from every round, the demands of the 2 markets, it's like an American market and a European market, the demands will shift. So you need to adapt, like you need to adapt your factory to whatever the market wants, which really simulates, sort of I guess the car industry, right? And it's so much fun, and it's like the worker placement. I mean, there's so many good things in this game. I have to talk about the worker placement in this game as well, because the worker placement part, as you can see here, it's based on like when you place your worker, you're sort of placing, it's like a grid, and so if you place your worker somewhere, you will do the action where you place him, but then you can also do something in that row or that column that you placed him in. And then just also bumping, so if you went to a space with 1 worker and I really want to go there, I can go there with 2 workers, but then you will get your worker back. So you will, get some extra turns basically, because it keeps going around until everyone has passed when you're out of workers. Such a good system, such a good design. This is a game, I think, if you missed this one, really check out Automania. If you like mid-weight Euros, you can't go wrong with this one here. It's from Aporta Games, Norwegians, and Kenneth Minde and Christian Amund Östby, which I actually met at SS Spiel as well. Really nice guys. So yeah, Automania, I can really recommend it. Next up, we have another game that I haven't filmed. I only played it once, but it made my top 100. That's how much it impressed me right away. Bruges from Stefan Feld. Wow, this game impressed me so much. I want to play it a bunch more. I had such a good time with this one. I really like the game design in it. It's a card game where you're like, the cards are, well, here's a picture of dice, but the cards are multi-use in a super way. So like, I think you can do 5 different things with all the cards. See if I can find a picture of the cards. So the cards you can get workers, you can get money, you can battle these like diseases and events, negative events happening in the game. It's obviously not a picture of the cards here. Oh, here we go. All right, there we go. So like a blue card can be used to get like, you get as much money as the blue die that turn is indicating. So you roll the dice just at the beginning of the turn, and then, okay, so if the blue die is a 5, then if you spend the blue card to get money, you will get 5 coins. But you can also spend the blue card to fight the blue danger that is threatening you. You can use it to build on the canals in Bruges. Then you need a blue card to build in a blue space. And also you can play the card for its actual effect, which all the cards have an effect on them. So some of them are like ongoing and so on. And you can build buildings. So you can build like a house. So if you flip it over, then it's like a basic, and then you can build your cards onto that. Such a good game mechanics. And let's see here. Ah, Bjorn. But Miran is saying that, asking, will Bruges be reprinted? I think it is. Like, it was on Kickstarter recently, but it changed the name. I think it was to Amsterdam. I think it was called Amsterdam on the Kickstarter. It is Bruges, but it's like including the expansions as well, and it's a reprint. So it is coming from Kickstarter. Oh, hey, Mats. Yeah, Mats was the one I was playing this with. So, I mean, as I said, it just instantly went up on my list here, even though I only played it once. I would like to get that reprint version. And I will say I also played with some expansions in there. Mats had this expansion with the the pets. They had pets in there. That was really fun. Such a good game. I think as soon as I can, when I can get back to playing with people, I will definitely, ask Mats and others to play Bruges again with me because I really enjoyed it. Then we have this is a bit of a weird slot on my list. So I didn't want to separate them. So this is the pandemic slot. So in here we have Pandemic, we have expansions for Pandemic, we have Pandemic Fall of Rome, which is the only video I made sort of for Pandemic. I did a Pandemic online video, and then I did I done some like unboxings and so on videos for the Legacy games. But it's Legacy, it's Pandemic, it's with the expansions, it's Pandemic Fall of Rome. I haven't played the Cthulhu one. I would like to try that, and I haven't played the one in Holland with the water. I don't remember what that's called. I haven't played that one. But yeah, so base Pandemic to me is not that exciting. I like there's like for me some parts of Pandemic I really like and some parts I don't like. But overall, and especially with the Legacy game, I love the Legacy games. I played the second season, I watched the whole first season, and now me and Draco are playing season 0, which is the third season, basically. Such a good game as a Legacy game. That's so much fun. If I were to rate it separately, only have the Legacy games, then Pandemic as a Legacy game would be way higher up on my list. But I decided to just put them all together. Fall of Rome is pretty cool. I like that it changes up the game a bit. But yeah, let's go back to what I like and what I don't like about Pandemic system. So I really like the cards. I really like how the cards, like this whole, like the threat is coming out and it's building up, and you draw your, you have like this timer built in, and then you get the, infections, and I really like that system. That's where the game shines, I think. I'm not such a huge fan of the whole, like, when you have to give cards to each other, and we have to meet up in this city so that I can give you this card, and that's like a whole big process. Not a big fan of that part, and like the whole like do 4 actions. I don't know. There's so many other ways to do actions in board games. I think it's a bit boring. Just I get 4 actions, so I go here, I do this, I do that, and then wait, did I do 3 or did I do 4? I don't like that too much. Rising Tide is the one in Holland, that's true. I'm not that excited to play that one at all. It didn't look that great. But yeah, the Cthulhu one I would like to try. I like Cthulhu theme. But so I think in that sense, I think Pandemic Fall of Rome as a standalone game is my favorite out of all these. And then I would say, as Legacy games concerned, then so far I would say that Season 2 is my favorite. Now, I am playing Season 0 right now, and it looks to be really cool. I haven't gotten that deep into it yet, so I don't know, maybe it will take the lead there. But overall, Pandemic is such a good game. And I mean, Pandemic, the base game, is a great game to play with non-gamers, and like a gateway game to get people into the hobby, right? I never been a big fan of the Pandemic theme though, especially not this year. But I mean, even before that, I never thought, like, going around fighting diseases, I don't know, that wasn't that great. So I'd rather fight barbarians in Rome. Again, overall with my board gaming experience, I do tend to go for like fantasy or historical themes rather than present time realistic themes. Well, Outer Main is realistic, but you know what I mean. There's exceptions always. Next up, we have, talking about fantasy games, we have Hero Realms. One of my favorite deck building games. And this is so versatile as well, because with the expansions to this, like the base Hero Realms, it's a 1 versus 1, you fight it out. I think that one is okay. That I don't know if that would make my top 100 actually, because it's like it builds up, and then you get stronger and stronger as you build your deck, and then you beat your opponent, or you get beaten. I will say that where Hero Realms really shine for me is as a solo game or a cooperative game. I think I like it most as a solo game actually. With the expansion Rune of Thandor and the new one, which is called, I have it somewhere here, something with a village, I think. I haven't played that too much though, but I played Runes of Thandor quite a bit. I can see it from here, but I can't see what it's called. Village of something, I think. Yeah, so in Hero Realms, when you play it as a solo game or a cooperative game, you play against, it's like a story, and you play against bosses and so on. And the story is so amazing. By the way, the dials here are from Aeon's End; they're not from Hero Realms. But the story is like you only have a few cards, right? Well, it's like a card game, and you only have a little booklet with story, but they still manage to get so much theme in there. Like the mechanics make sense together with whatever's happening in the theme. I find that so impressive in the design. This is White Wizard Games. Rob Doherty made this. Such a good sort of thematic feel in the game, and I really love the artwork in this game. This is one of the best artwork in a game I ever seen. I can't say right now what the artist is called. I'm sorry. You can look that up obviously on Board Game Geek, but Hero Realms, really cool game, and you have these like characters, and they have these special cards and special abilities. So much fun. Oh yeah, there's Cthulhu Realms and there's Star Realms as well. I played Star Realms quite a bit, but I don't know. Usually I go for, like, if I have to decide, I usually go for space over fantasy. But I think in Hero Realms, Star Realms, I prefer Hero Realms actually. Somehow it feels better with the whole, like you have a wizard and you're fighting monsters. I don't know. Basically the same game in a lot of ways. The Lost Village, that's the name of it. Thank you, Aegis. I love having you guys in the chat. You can keep me straight. Next up, we have a game that I haven't made a video for. It would be kind of hard for me to do a video for this. I have considered doing a video on Board Game Arena, actually, because I played it quite a bit lately on Board Game Arena. Hanabi is the name of the game. Hanabi is a cooperative game with, like, hidden information. The interesting thing, though, is that the hidden information is from yourself. So you have your hand of cards, but you hold them so you look at the back of your cards. So you look at everyone else's cards. So you know what everyone else have, you don't know what you have. I really like that in this game. And so on your turn, you can give like a clue to someone else. You can tell someone else that, like, these two cards in their hand are white, or you can tell them like, oh, these two cards are ones. And that whole system of, like, you're trying to think. It's kind of like the Mind and other games in this genre, where you're sort of trying to anticipate how the other players around the table are thinking. So you can talk a bit, but you can't like say exactly things. And yeah, Hanabi is really fun. It's a quick to play game, and it's one of those games where I don't think you really play like once. You want to play like a few times, and you get into. I like this whole. You build up a meta so fast. You get into, like, with the same group you play over and over. You start to realize why people are giving certain clues and what they actually mean by that, and you can start deducing things. And also, as the game progresses, cards will be discarded and played. So after a while, you can see all the cards except for the ones in your hand. You can see what has been discarded. You can see what has been played. The only thing you don't have is like the cards on your hand, and the cards are left in the deck. But you can start like deducing. If someone tells me I have a 5 in my hand and I can see all the other colored 5s out there, I know what 5 I have in my hand. So they don't need to tell me the color. And hopefully the other players also realize that, so they don't spend a turn telling me, oh, that's a green 5, because they don't need to. They just need to tell me it's a 5. It's so much fun. I really like Hanabi. And I think I will do a video when I play this on Board Game Arena with friends, because I want to show you how it actually works if you haven't seen it. I will actually do, this upcoming week, I will do a few streams where I play games on Board Game Arena, because I want to show people how these days a lot of people are sitting at home, they can't play with their friends. I want to really show them, because for me it's been an eye-opener. I've always been like, oh, I don't like this like digital implementations. I'd rather play board games, in real life. But since I can't, I must say that Board Game Arena really works well for the purpose. It's very easy to handle and get into. Then next up is a Uwe Rosenberg farming simulation game that I really enjoy. This is Fields of Arle, and Fields of Arle is a, let's see if my computer can catch up here. There we go. It's a I would say it's a 2-player game, the base game. But then there's an expansion that adds a 3rd player. I haven't played with the 3rd player. I played the expansion on 2, but not with the 3rd player. And in this one, it's very abstracted, as you can see. It's not that pretty, but you're doing different actions like gathering wood and gathering clay and whatnot, and peat. This is the game that taught me the English word peat. I think and I think Flux as well. Anyway, in the game you're getting resources, you're using the resources to build things, to build buildings, or to build like these carriages that you can use to. And it's really cool because you take your cart, and you travel to another city, and then you can sell goods there. And so you visit these different German cities, and that's also a way to score points. There's a lot of things going on in this game, and I like how it goes between, like, there's a summer season and a winter season. So in the summer season, you do some kind of actions, like make thematic sense what you would do in the summer if you were a farmer. But one player once in summer season can go and do a winter action, and vice versa in the winter. So that, if you really want to do one of those winter actions, you need to do it before your opponent, because then they can't do it. And then in the winter, you can do one of the summer actions, and it also affects the turn order. Such a good game design, this Fields of Arl. And you have your own board, as you can see here. You're building up your buildings and so on. But you also need to clear out, like, the water is rising, so you need to, like, move these barriers to push the water back, so you get more space to build on, and clear out this, like, what's called, like, these swamps to get peat. A lot of good things in this game. I really enjoy it. I want to play it more as well. But it's a longer 2-player game. It's something that takes a while. So as a 2-player game, it's more like a whole evening, which I do like. I like playing games on 2, even for the whole evening. I don't mind that at all. So yeah, if you haven't seen it before and so on, I mean, as you can see here, I'm putting up the videos. You can go just search, and when you search, if you're curious about Fields of Arl, for example, there will be a link down in the description for the video. But also, if you're curious about a game, you can always search for the game name and Niramas, and you will find it on YouTube or on Google. So it's easy to find my videos that way, because by now I made over 1,000 videos. It's hard to find them by just going to my actual page on YouTube. Then we have 42? Wait, now I'm confused. Yeah, 42. 42 Alexander Pfister game called Great Western Trail. This has been higher up on my list, but it's get pushed down because there's so many good games, basically. I do like Great Western Trail quite a bit. And especially, as you can see here with the expansion, Railways to the North, I think that added a lot to the game. I think the base game is... I got a bit tired of the base game. I played it a bunch of times. I mean, maybe like 15, 20 times. And I really liked it when the expansion came out. So in this game, you're trying to, like, it's like deck building, and then you have your pawns moving around. There's a lot of different mechanics mixed together, some tiling and so on as well. But the main part is you have your hand of cards, and they're cows, and then you're trying to race, like, get to the end of, or get to the train station to ship your cows off to sell them. And when you get there, you want to have different kind of cows. So the cows have number on them, and you want to have, like, as many different as you can, and get a high total number. That's how much money you make, and also how much you sort of how far away you can sell those cows to, and that will also be good for you. But on the way there, people will start building buildings, and if you land on another player's building, you have to pay them money. So you want to, like, build your buildings in strategically places so that people will have to pass it to pay you money. And as you go this track, you will do different actions on the way to selling your cows. Really fun game. There's a lot of fun stuff going on here. Now, my gaming group has sort of destroyed the game a little bit for me, because they got so competitive with it and played it so much. So that sort of can destroy some games for me. So I would rather play this game with people, random people or whatever, people that haven't played the game too much, because then I will have a good time and just relax and have a good time playing it, instead of this, like, competitive super strategy that you developed. But yeah, such a good game design. Great Western Trail, I think, is my favorite Alexander Pfister game as well, so I can really recommend it. Oh, I guess I don't care about the Broken Meeple. He has terrible game taste. I like the guy, Luke, but I hate his game taste. I don't get that at all. So, last game for today, 41, is Colt Express. Haven't made a video for this one, but this is such a good game. I love this game. I love the game mechanics in this one. It's such a fun game. You have this, first of all, you have like a 3D, actual 3D cardboard train which is so cool. That's like the board of the game. And it really pops on the table. And I still remember when I was at a convention years ago and I saw someone play this. And I was like, wow, what is that? And that looks really fun. And it is really fun. And I really like, this is like a programming game where you take turns putting down a card face down in a pile to say what you will be doing. And you do them in the order. Then when everyone put down their cards, you flip the cards over and then you do them in that order. So I might be planning, you're like train robbers on the train, right? You're moving around, shooting at each other, trying to get some loot. And I might be planning to like climb up to the roof and then move forward and then pick up some loot. The problem is though, other people will do things on the way. So while when I get to my actual picking up loot, the loot might not be there anymore. Or someone might have shot me and thrown me back. And there's a sheriff, like a NPC that is moving around as well and can catch you. So much fun with this game. There's a few different fun expansions as well. I haven't played them all. I really enjoy this. Oh hey, Gospel Kingdom website saying Great Western Trail is number 28. Yes, we're fairly close then. 41 or 42 to 28. Not that far away. And I mean, in this game also, I think it's so cool that you have, let's see here, I'm gonna see if I can get some fun pictures here. Yeah, you can see it. Like, I mean, speaking of theme in games, when you get the game, you get these little cacti and and cliffs, and there's like a play mat you can have, and you move your pieces, your pawn, your cowboy around in here. It's just so thematic. Like, again, with very few components, they manage to just set the setting for the game and how the game, the gameplay and what you do in the game, the mechanics, they connect with the theme in a fun way. I think that's what really kicks into my brain and makes me love a game. So I mean, there's some games that have really good mechanics, but then there's like no theme, and I don't really feel, I don't feel like I'm doing something. I'm just doing like an Excel file. And there's other games that are really thematic, but then I just rolled some dice and oh well, I lost, and that's really boring to me as well. So the mix, I like the mixes. I mean, these days I don't even call myself a Euro player anymore, really, because I like the mix. I'm in between the Euro and the thematic. I like the mix in between there. Okay, Colt Express was on my top 10 for a long time. Oh, I don't think I played the second expansion. Which one is that? There's also these mini expansions. I haven't played those, but I picked them up at Essence Spiel. There's like mini expansions where the characters get like some special ability, I think. That looks pretty fun. So yeah, so that's the 20 games for today. If you have any questions or comments, I'll just sit around, hang around for a bit here so we can have a chat about these games. Next weekend, there will be the 40 to 21, and then the weekend after that, which is just before Christmas time, then there will be the video with my top 20, and then I will be joined by Mats and Andreas, two of my friends that have been on earlier years as well. We will not do that live stream though, because I realized that was too tricky to pull off, because we need to, we don't want to spoil the picks for each other. So I don't want to know the 20 games that Andreas has on his list. And I didn't figure out a good way to do that. So instead we're going to record it over Zoom. And then we're going to share screens. So when it's time for Andreas number 12, then he's going to share the screen and show us, me and Mats, which game he picked. And that's going to make it more exciting. I think that makes for a better banter between us as well if we don't know what the other person picked. So I will record that and edit it. And it will look like this, but with two other guys here. And I will do it as a premiere, so it will be sort of like a live stream. There will still be a chat. You can still interact with us. We will be in the chat, all three of us, and interact with you, and answer questions or discuss things and so on. So it's gonna be sort of live. It's just not gonna be live like this is, basically. The second expansion for Colt Express makes the sheriff into a character, like a playable character. Huh. Oh, so it's a one versus all then, I guess, or something. I haven't tried that. I thought it was cool with the one with the horses, and you could jump off to a horse and then you could jump in somewhere else. Such a thematic game. I guess I can find the expansions here, right? The Santa Claus Elf. That sounds fun. Oh, here's the mini expansions. All these like for different characters. Marshals and prisoners. Maybe that's the one. Yeah, horses and stagecoach is cool, I think. I think that's the one that I like. I don't know. It's been a while since I played the game as well. But I had a really good time with it. And it also inspired me when I made my own game, Draco's Adventure, that I'm still working to finish the last touches on before I can put it on Kickstarter. But I like the programming part. I like the chaos that you like playing cards and you don't know what's going to happen. Alright, so I think I'm going to end the stream here. Had a good time talking about 20 more games. I tried to keep up the pace so it wouldn't be too long of a video. But if you watch this afterwards, you can check the timeline down here to see a certain game number, and also, of course, tell me in the comment section what you thought about my choices of games. And we'll be back next weekend with another stream. 20 more games to talk about. It's just getting better and better as we go up or down the top 100 list, however you want to see it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great evening or morning or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye bye.